Love where you live and play with Lindsay Management. Affordable apartments and golf memberships at 9 and 18-hole courses. Buying or selling? Trust Lindsay and Associates. Serving the community for over 50 years. Lindsay, #1 in apartments, golf, and real estate.
Want to run faster, jump higher, move with more power? The Sports Recovery and Development Program at Bridges Therapy Group builds speed, strength, agility, and endurance while correcting movement issues that can cause injury. Give your athlete the edge. Schedule an assessment today at srdathlete.com. A recap of Thursday night's game between North Little Rock and Pulaski Academy. Plus, we look ahead to tonight's action as conference play opens up. It is Friday, September 26th, and this is Varsity Vibe Today. Welcome into Varsity Vibe on this Friday. I'm your host, Alyssa Orange, and I hope everyone is ready for some Friday Night Lights action because conference play is starting around the state, and it is bound to be an exciting evening under the lights. There was some action, though, on Thursday night, and that is where we start with our Lewis Automotive opening drive. The fall kickoff event is happening now at the Lewis Automotive Group. Unbeatable prices and special financing. Your next vehicle is ready for you now at one of their 3 locations, Fayetteville, Springdale, and Farmington. The 7A Central started action off on Thursday evening between North Little Rock at Pulaski Academy. North Little Rock coming into this game 1-2 to start the year. Pulaski Academy 0-3. It was North Little Rock that took a 17-8 lead early in the game and then led 16-17 later on, but Pulaski Academy making sure that they got their first win of the season when it mattered the most, jumping out to a 31-17 lead in the third quarter, then going up 37-17. They win this one 45-31. Again, their first win of the season coming in conference play. Brey Cook joining us like he does every Friday. Brey, let's talk some football because the exciting part of the season has come, and we are excited to kick off conference play, specifically in the 7A West. So let's start there in our game of the week that you are going to be at, Bentonville and Har-Ber. So many storylines around this game off the field. There's a lot of excitement about this game on the field, and I cannot wait to see how it unfolds.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, Bentonville is a juggernaut, and they've shown the world these last couple of weeks. But those are non-conference games. I know they may see Conway again later in the postseason, but those games do count. But they also kind of don't because these ones do. It's conference, and they've got to match up against, like you said, Coach Dannenhauer. I mean, look at the storyline there. He's been a Bentonville Tiger for a long time, and he knows how to win. And you can see that knowledge of how to win ball games has already started to trickle over into that Har-Ber culture. And you know, they beat Farmington. They lose to a very talented Broken Arrow team, and they lose one to the Bulldogs and Kane Archer in the last 13 seconds. Har-Ber's a good football team. Mm-hmm. So it's not like Bentonville's going to walk in there and be able to do whatever they want. But that being said, Bentonville is going to demonstrate, I think, several times this year that they can walk into football stadiums and do whatever they want. They are a powerhouse. So I'm really excited for this matchup. I think that it really is going to be a test for Har-Ber just as much Bentonville to see where both these teams are at.
All right, let's talk about our Varsity Vibe game of the week that takes us out to Centerton. Fayetteville going to Bentonville West. And Fayetteville's got a ton of talent, but Bentonville West has proven that they've got a high-powered offense and a guy in Trey Thompson who has absolutely no quit in him. And I'm really excited to see how that one unfolds too.
No, absolutely. You know, we talk about Har-Ber losing to Greenwood. Well, Bentonville West did very similar fashion. Incredibly close game. Bentonville West is a great football team. And, you know, both these teams are Varsity Vibe teams. And I've been able to spend a lot of time filming these guys at practice, being at their games, working with our creators on their highlights. And so I feel like all I've looked at the last month has been highlights of Fayetteville and Bentonville West, and there are a ton of them. Like you said, Fayetteville's very talented. Trey Thompson over there at Bentonville West is an absolute stud. His receiver, Ryan, is just making highlight clips. I mean, these two teams are easy to make these highlight reels for because there's just so many of them. Very, very talented teams. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one too because I really think it can both teams and the trajectory of the entire conference. And you could look back at this game and point to it when it's all said and done. Another game that I find really intriguing, with Rogers off a bye week last week, but just dominant the first 3 weeks of the season, specifically offensively. They're going to go to Fort Smith Northside, who's got a first-year head coach in Don Maroc, and they're still trying to figure out their identity down there. And so these two teams could be a really interesting matchup.
No, it is an interesting matchup, and you're right. Northside's still trying to figure out that identity. They've been outscored 132-41 in these non-conference games, so they're still trying to figure out that rhythm, figure out who they are with their new head coach. And unfortunately for them, Rogers is coming to town, and Rogers has been on one. They've got some major players, and I think Coach was on your podcast talking about it's not just one athlete. I mean, they're spreading the ball out and they're scoring on multiple guys, and they've got talent all over that football field. So I think the biggest key here is as a coach, you come off a bye week. Well, you've now had 2 weeks where you're no longer in that game week rhythm, and so you have to find ways to be creative to keep the guys in sync on that daily, journey through the season. And coming off the bye week can sometimes prove a little difficult, shake off those cobwebs. So, there's a chance Northside could come in there, that they do find that rhythm and that identity and surprise Rogers a little bit. But like we said, Rogers is a freight train right now. Yeah,
they are. I'll be impressed to find anyone who can slow that offense down all season long. So we'll see how that one goes. Those are the games that really pique my interest in the 7A West. We're going to talk more 6A football after this.
If you're an athlete that wants to improve your game, maybe improve your 40, jump higher, have better agility, Bridges Therapy Group's Sport Recovery and Development Program can help. They've been helping student athletes reach their highest potential for quite a while now. They've got a team that includes physical therapists, athletic trainers, personal trainers, and occupational therapists. And together, they design individual plans to build speed, explosive power, agility, strength, and endurance. Whether your athlete's returning from rehab or working for a competitive edge, SRD provides the training and guidance to help them succeed. Schedule your athlete's assessment today at srdathlete.com.
Quick Turf is the go-to team for building championship-level sports facilities for public schools, private schools, and the entire school district. They also install beautiful backyard putting greens for homeowners. Known for lifelike, eco-friendly turf, Quick Turf handles everything from design and lighting to drainage and final landscaping. Their all-in-one approach delivers high-performance surfaces for athletes and low-maintenance greens that last for years. With preventative maintenance programs, they keep every field and green looking game day ready. Schedule a free consultation today at quickturf.com. That's QIKturf.com.
Matt Lewis with Lewis Automotive Group, excited to announce our trade-in, trade-up event. During this event, you get thousands extra for your trade value. Plus, it's all backed by the Lewis Guarantee. Double the factory warranty. That's a 10-year, 120,000-mile powertrain. Plus, you get 1 year worth of maintenance on us. This event's only going on at Lewis Automotive Group and is at all of our locations in Fayetteville, Springdale, and Farmington.
Could a little extra support help your child shine even brighter? Bridges Therapy Group empowers kids to live their best life with expert pediatric therapy services tailored to their needs. Their team offers occupational therapy, speech therapy, and physical therapy, guiding families from the first evaluation to every milestone along the way. Give your child the tools to succeed and shine. Visit btgpeds.com to learn more and schedule your appointment today. That's btgpeds.com.
Love where you live and play with Lindsay Management. Enjoy affordable apartments with community amenities like fitness centers and resort-style pools at select locations. Golf memberships are also available at beautiful 9 and 18-hole courses. Buying or selling a home, commercial, or investment property? Trust Lindsay and Associates, serving the community and bringing great neighbors together for over 50 years. Lindsay, #1 in apartments, golf, and real estate.
Let's talk 6A football now, and a game that could probably also be the game of the week. with Shiloh and Greenwood, and you've got two powerhouses in 6A opening up conference play. And again, we know that Greenwood, they've got a target on their back. They're going to get everyone's best performance week in and week out. And if there is a team that could knock Greenwood off, I think it could be Shiloh.
Yeah, it really could be. And, it's almost like I'm almost sick of hearing about Kane Archer. And I'm the one over here making highlights and watching his film every day. But I feel like every game there's a post-game interview with Kane. There's an incredible highlight. There's an amazing storyline. Well, it's because he's that good of an athlete. And Greenwood is that good of a football team. But that being said, I feel like Shiloh and Greenwood are two of those schools you can really compare, very similar. The way that they start those kids from preschool, almost learning that offense and defense, and then they grow them all the way up until they're on Friday nights. And so, to me, these two teams, as far as how they're structured, just as a whole, are very similar. So it's a great matchup. And like you said, if anyone can do it, it is going to be Shiloh. And you look at Greenwood, and they've been in these close games. Just barely beat Har-Ber, barely beat Bentonville West, which are 7A football teams. But you would imagine one of these games, that ball might not bounce their way there towards the end. So really interesting to see how this one plays out.
Another game that I'm really excited about is Southside and Mountain Home. And Kim Dameron, him and his guys told us before the season started that, like, just watch out. What happened last year? We're ready to prove everybody wrong. And they have done really well to start the season. And then they go to Mountain Home. And this is another game where it feels like there's Shiloh and there's Greenwood, but you've got a Mountain Home team and a Southside team that could be right there at 2 or 3 by the time conference is over.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. These teams are very similar as well. And they're both undefeated going into this ball game. I mean, this is a huge one for one of these schools. And you look at what Steve Airy's been able to do up there, and they've played out of state a little bit. Mountain Home took care of things there against Fort Smith to kick off the season. I think these teams are both well coached. They're both, like you said, they're fighting for that 3 spot. And I think this game tonight could have some huge implications down the road.
Last but certainly not least, let's head to 5A West, and we've got Farmington and Pea Ridge open up conference play.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned Northside trying to find that identity and try and get that rhythm, and Pea Ridge is in the same boat. They got a new head coach this year, bunch of great kids, a bunch of great athletes. They're still trying to find that rhythm, and sometimes that takes a couple games to do, especially when you're in a conference as tough as the 5A. And going to Farmington is a tall order. Obviously, with their quarterback situation, and then coming off a very emotional game with their last go around against Brey Grove, winning by 1 point. I mean, it'll be interesting to see where they bounce back, because when you do go into that rivalry game, the game after that can be sometimes tough. So there's a chance Pea Ridge can come sneak up on them, but in order for that to happen, Pea Ridge has to play a great game. They got to play clean. They got to do everything right, because Farmington's very talented. And if Farmington does find their rhythm with their new quarterback coming off that low win against Prairie Grove, they can get rolling quick.
Yeah, they can. It's going to be a fun night of high school football Friday night. So try to make sure you get out to a game if you can. And if you can't, well, you can follow us along on social media. We will have scores. We'll have all the action. Make sure to follow us on Varsity Vibe social media. And that is where you can find all of that. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you haven't already, sign up for our newsletter at varsityvibearkansas.com. Brey, so much. Looking forward to another week of great action, and we'll talk about it next week. Improvement matters, especially for young athletes looking to excel in sports. Every week, we're highlighting those that have put the work in to get better. This week, our performance athlete of the week is Shiloh Christian's Oakley Thompson. Through his training, Thompson has made major strides across the board. He has shaved off 11/10 of a second off his 40-yard dash and 14/10 of a second off of his pro agility. Additionally, Oakley added a huge 13.35 inches to his broad jump and 4.33 inches to his vertical jump. To learn more about the program, visit srdathlete.com. That is going to do it for Varsity Vibe today. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to follow us on our social media platforms, subscribe to the podcast, and subscribe to the newsletter, varsityvibearkansas.com. A special shout out to our sponsors, Lindsay, Lewis Automotive, Bridges Therapy Group, and Quick Turf. I'll see you tomorrow.